What's up, guys? It's Rachel. Sorry, I look kind of messy right now, and I'm kind of being lazy, but it's whatever. But today's video is gonna be about 10 things I wish I knew before going to boarding school. As a boarding school student of 4 years since I was in sixth grade, and now I'm gonna be a junior. So let's get to it. Here's 10 things I wish I knew before going to boarding school. So the first thing I wish I knew is that boarding school has a very every boarding school has a very structured schedule that every student has to adhere to, and at every single boarding school I went to they had like a pasted schedule everywhere. And at my most recent one, there was a lot more free time. Like, it depends on obviously your boarding school, but weekends are usually really free, and then weekdays are usually very packed, and you have a schedule you have to adhere to. So I'm gonna show you my weekday one right here, and as you can see, there is breakfast at a scheduled time, and you have your classes, you have lunch, and then you have some time. You always have passing time, and sometimes on days you'll have breaks and stuff in the middle of the day. And then we would have athletic time or practice time, and sometimes when you have games, you get to leave like 2 hours before classes end, or even earlier than that if you have a really far away game. And so that's kind of fun. And obviously you have game time, and then if it's just a regular day, practice is from like 3:30 to 5:30, and then you have dinner, and then you have some time in between that and study hall. The teachers will like proctor you, but if you have good grades, like I had honor roll and stuff, that means you can like just do it in your room, and you don't have to have anybody like watching you or whatever. But if you have bad grades, then you're gonna have to be in a room like this, and they'll like just make sure you're doing your work. So yeah. And then I think my boarding school curfew, this most recent boarding school I've went to, was very reasonable. It's 8th through 12th grade, so yeah. And so the weekends are also very, very like free, and the curfew's pretty late. It's like 12 a.m. midnight. I'm gonna attach the picture over here. But the weekends are like really free, and you also have brunch, which is like a much bigger meal and stuff. And yeah, each boarding school will have like a cafeteria or some kind of like mess room or somewhere where they serve you meals, breakfast, lunch, and dinner. And some of them will just have like brunch and then dinner on the weekends, which was mine this year. The second thing I wish I knew is that every boarding school is gonna have some type of like weird traditions or rules. So my boarding school has a lot, and I'm not going to go into every single one of them, but one of them was called the lantern ceremony, and I'm going to attach a video over here to the right. And it kind of looks like a cult. I'm not gonna lie, but basically it's all the juniors and seniors have like their buddy. Okay, a senior is called a big, and a junior is called a little. And so at the beginning of the year, the seniors will pick their littles, and they'll have like this special bond, a friendship bond. And at the end of the year, this is late April, we have something called May Ball, and we do this at May Ball. Is they do this little ceremony, and they learn this song, and they go and perform this ritual song thing, and it kind of looks like a cult. They're all wearing little lanterns and wearing dresses, and they do it in the dark, and it's kind of creepy, but it's like a 100-year-old tradition for my school. And yeah, the next thing I wish I knew is that every boarding school has its own like unique central idea or perk or something that no other boarding school has. And my last one, was that it was right on a river. So like the backyard was the river. And so you can we had like science classes, we could go out on boats, and in the warmer weather you can go on the little beach that we have, or you can kayak, you can boat. They did tubing all the time, and it's like you can just literally go on there whenever you have free time, and it can be used for like so many different things. And it was kind of like the whole personality of the school, but that was the main perk that we had. And also, we were not in the middle of nowhere, we were very central, like in the middle of a town. So yeah. The fourth thing I learned is that, especially if you're younger, like if you're going just high school, then it's not going to be as hard. But when I was 11, but you're going to learn, it's going to be sometimes difficult to adjust to living very independently, and you're going to have to learn those things pretty quickly. You don't have a mom to depend on, or parents, and you kind of have to do everything by yourself. So the fifth thing is that like the academics are a lot more challenging and college preparatory compared to public school and most private schools. And since I was 11, so I didn't really get to like research. I had no idea I was going to the boarding school. My parents just sent me there, so I wish I had a little bit more preparation. But like, I'm not trying to brag, but I'm smart, so like it was easy for me to adjust. But I'm going to show you some classes that I took, especially these past 2 years in high school boarding school. And it was like, compared to some of the public school classes I've taken, it's it's more difficult. Larger course load, the work is just overall more difficult. They hold you to higher standards with your grades, and the exams are really hard, and yeah. So the sixth thing I wish I knew was that, before, especially for the first 2 years that I was in boarding school, is that boarding school will really help you and prepare you for college. Once you get to college, compared to all your public school peers and your private school peers, you're gonna be so much more prepared academically, mentally, physically. You're gonna be already well adjusted, and you're gonna know what you're doing. You're gonna get better grades. You're gonna just be overall better and happier. And my parents are choosing to invest in boarding school now, and obviously we have a lot of financial aid, but because it will really prepare me for college, and I'll be ahead of everybody else. The next thing I wish I knew is that living in a community, living in a building together, living together with a bunch of your peers, can be difficult, and with a few of your teachers too. They have separate apartments, but people can be nasty, they can be gross, they can be loud, and I'm going to attach some pictures to the side of our group chat and some things that were said and pictures that were sent in there, and it can get pretty disgusting and odd, and it's some of the stuff that people said were disrespectful or crazy, so yeah, you can just pause the video and look at those, but sometimes it can be difficult, but at the end of the day, you can also have so much fun with your friends and bond and stuff like that, so yeah. Okay, the eighth thing I wish I knew is the drama element, at school in general, is just much more heightened because you're at boarding school, so you're living with these people that are really dramatic. You might have beef with them, and so that really just heightens the risk of they can try to steal stuff from you, or you have to see them a lot more often. So I mean, it just overall heightens it. But there is, of course, ways that you can get away from these people and not interact with them, but still it's just that added risk and stuff. But to the side, there's some drama. The ninth thing I wish I knew is that not everybody that's sent to boarding school it's not going to work for them, because obviously boarding school is not for everybody, and some people just can't really live away from home, or only public school or day school works for them, and it really just depends on the person, on how it will how your experience will be, and it just doesn't work for everybody. So yeah, and most of the people have gotten kicked out and stuff at the boarding schools I've gone to, so it really just depends on the person. And last but not least, the last thing I wish I knew is that boarding school might sound negative when you first learn about it, but it's actually you're gonna value and cherish all the special moments and experiences you have there. In these past 4 years that I've went to boarding school, there's been so many special moments that I've had, and I'm gonna show you some pictures and videos to my left. But there's it's really an amazing experience, especially depending on your school, but there's so many special friendships you can make and experiences you can have, and it's so amazing. So yeah. Well, thanks for tuning in and watching the video. Sorry if it was kind of long, and sorry if I was kind of yapping a little bit. But see you guys next time. Peace.